21, I got something other than the realistic TRC 451 hooked up.
Oh, good gracious, man, I'll be happy for that. TRC 455. I tell him you can't hear him either there, not Ranger.
Oh, you all over him. He's about a 5, you're a 9.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I want some TRC 455. I look for a 455 and a 457. That's the kind of radio I'm looking for by a whole base station.
I have a 455, but not a 457.
You got that 455 with a clock and everything on it?
Oh yeah, and the double meters. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my first base station, man. That's why I went by that number, 455. Oh yeah.
I got one that works good. I had to rebuild the power supply in it, but it works.
Yeah, I saw a guy in Tennessee. He had that thing just came out the box. He had a brand new one came out the box, right?
Well, mine's not brand new, but it looks pretty good. It's not beat up at all. It looks good. Like I said, I did have to put a new power transformer in it and redo the power supply board. But after that, everything works except the alarm clock. That's the only thing that doesn't work. The clock works. It's just the alarm clock part doesn't work.
Hey, 10 volt. Okay, yeah, that thing used to wake me up in the morning. That thing used to wake me up in the morning, let me know it's time to get out the house. Yeah, you want to get rid of that thing?
I suppose you could talk me out of it if you wanted to. I wouldn't we'd be too stingy with it.
I ain't 10 volt on that, yeah. I like to have one of them old nostalgia radio. That's when Radio Shack used to have some radio. How much you signing for radio before you get to me?
They did have some good radios. The last good bass they had was that TRC 490, that 40 channel sideband. And they had that. Then there were a couple of okay AMs after that, but that TRC 490, I thought that was the last really good bass they had.
I ain't 10 volt, yeah. Yeah, they started out with them 450s and moved on up. Yep, but that yeah, them was a real good base station. And then they kind of left out of that, got out of the game, and everybody else tried to keep on it and do everything else with it, right?
Yeah. And back in the 80s and early 90s, they had all those mobiles and even a couple of bases with that stupid 5-segment LED meter. And I hated those things. I wouldn't buy them because of that dumb meter.
Yeah, that took a lot out of it, with them LED. That kind of took a lot of it out of the power punch out of that radio.
Well, I don't know if it took power punch. I just didn't like, I wanted a real meter. I wanted an analog meter, and I just didn't like that little 5-segment LED meter that all of them had through the mid to late 80s and in the 1990s. I just thought they were ugly.
Yeah, I didn't like that little LED thing either. That's why I stopped messing with them, and I bought one of them since. So yeah, but I wouldn't mind taking a look at that though, that old 455. That's one of the bass I used to have over Mount Pleasant.
Well, it works perfect. Like I said, the only thing that doesn't work is the alarm doesn't work, but it works perfect. So maybe we can hook up. I'll be back after right after Christmas. I'm already selling one radio and some coaxed white dogs, and maybe we can take care of that at the same time. I'd be willing to part with it. It's a good radio, but I got too many radios. I need to get rid of some of them.
Hey, okay, all right, no doubt about it. Yep, I don't go back until the 8th. I don't go back to the 8th of January, so okay, we can get back with you.
All right, let me shut up so 21 can get ready for old radio night.
Yeah, 21 better get on out there. He old, so he better get ready for old radio night. Say my buddy's on before I slap you. Another old cotton picker. Well, more wiser than you is. Might be old, but wiser than you is. You better be wiser than me. You better hear longer than me, so you better be wiser than me. And I'm real smart too. My 2 steps ahead. 4 steps ahead of you. Yeah, with them triple canes, but I look better. You better not be showing off for them women out there. I'll tell you what, but you've been flirting. Hey, Crazy, stop talking so loud. Hey, Crazy man, stop talking so loud. I got to turn my volume down. That's all good for a rowdy woman, too. Come bring it out and go to PA as soon as I get one hooked up on my truck. I got a PA killer. I got my grandbaby. I didn't make it known. bad you was working today, that store. You missed a whole lot of fun out there from 28. Terrible situation.
Oh yeah, mine's already going.
Okay, well, Radio 9 here. Let's see. Now, Ranger, you got me here a little bit late there at 8:05, but it's 12/22/2017, and I'm going to get on the side and let y'all get on there.
All right, now you got to tell us what you're running first.
Okay, I'm just running a Johnson Messenger 250 there, ground plane, and I got a, I don't tell everything there, but anyway, it's not exactly 100% stock, so that's it.
It's definitely blaringly loud, that's for sure. And I'm talking on a vintage Robyn T-123B, the old green tube type radio, with a static D104. Going into my homemade wire J-pole, and I won't talk about the rest. And we have to give our disclaimer. This is CB Radio. It may not be politically correct. You are not subscribed to the Disney Channel. And although we do make every attempt, or reasonable attempt, to behave, there are times when manly men discuss manly things and may not be suitable for easily offended snowflakes.
Yeah, please observe Larry's law while, participating while you're watching.
That's right. All right, who's next?
You want to go next to 755? Yeah, that's old 755. I'm running a Galaxy Saturn base with a D104 with a PAL 351 BDX. With behind a Dozy. On top of the house is a Antron 99 on top of the tower. About 55 feet, 60 feet in the air. And that's all I got. 410. How about you there, crazy man? Yeah, I can go for it. I'm so glad I got my voice back today. Because did all that talking out there. DX ran today. Yeah, I'm over on a RCI 2985 DX radio. This is Ranger radio with upper lower sideband. 40 channels with a D04. And around 50 or 60 watt ring push behind it. I got high mics 2000 sitting up there. Supposed to be 60 foot. Now I think you only fell over around on a 45 angle. Right, as long as it ain't building, don't mess with it. That's nothing. They call me 1160. Crazy man with the bullfrog and 2 ducks was back out. 10-4. How about that eliminator?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm talking off an old mobile here. It's an old Cobra 29 LTD. It's a 91 model. And I've done a little bit of work to it. I've replaced the faceplate to a Uniden PC76XL. Replaced LEDs on it so I can see what channel I'm on. Put a meter in it that actually works, and that's playing up there to my little gray box, which is pushing out to my old penetrator, sitting about 36 feet off the ground.
10 Roger. Well, I wish I'd have known that you was going to run that Robyn T-123B there. I'd have tried to hook mine up. Maybe I'll do it next week there, Night Range.
Well, it was kind of a last minute decision. I looked at hooking up a high gain high range 1 since I did a high gain high range 2 last time. I do have 2 of those. And then I also looked at this Jet Sounds that's still new in the box. Thought about it, and I also thought about pulling the Regency CR230 back out since it's a mobile, but it's got that nice big meter. But anyway, at the last minute I decided to go with the Robyn. I got to put a new relay in this thing. It's got a 3-pole double throw relay that's a little flaky, so for viewers on my end, if you see it make a bunch of noise when I unkey, that's that relay. not making good contacts. And I got a few other parts in there, and I got to do some tuning on the IF coils. I got that solvent from that Mike's Radio Repair mentions to get in there and hopefully loosen up those cemented slugs, because the receives down a little and the tube's all tech good, so I think it just needs to be aligned. But man, that white cement they put in these Robins, that's like a 70s super glue, so I definitely want to dissolve it, because the previous owner of this radio shattered one of the slugs trying to force it, and it just didn't go so well. Don't want to repeat his mistakes. Of course, that's why I got this radio for free. He had it in the closet and it wasn't working. He gave it to me and said, I don't know why it quit working, it just suddenly stopped. But anyway, that's what I got.
Okay. Yeah, I like those radios.
This one's real good. I just got to get the receive down on it, and I got one little capacitor that needs to come out of there, because when I get a real strong signal like Eliminator, when he's close to me, it hums in the receive. Smaller signals don't do it, but I think that's still that one bad can capacitor. It's definitely on its last leg, so I got to get that out of there.
Roger. Are you gonna take it out, or are you just gonna put the real thing? Are you gonna cut it open and put some in it and then seal it back up?
Well, I bypassed it for the moment. I just put some other, I won't say bypass, but I put some new capacitors in parallel to kind of up the microfarad temporarily. But I may look around and see if I can find one that'll actually fit it. If not, then I guess I'll just have to cut it out.
Roger. There's a couple of new places coming out with them. That guitar place that I thought that you didn't know about, that we talked about, that sells guitar parts. They got them, but CTE, I think, or CMH or something like that is making those multi-section capacitors now. I bought some of them. They have a website you can actually go to Bypass Antique Electronics Supply Company and buy it straight from them. That's right.
Well, that's good to know. I do need to get the receive up on it a little. When I first got it, the receive was stronger, but it's kind of gone downhill. So, but I tell you, it's a nice radio to have sitting here in the winter when it's cold, because you know this thing puts out some heat. You put it in a little multi-tube amp beside it, you don't even need to turn on another heater.
Now. Cooking the heads and all down and stewing all them off the bone good, and it'll be a little bit longer now. I'll let that thing simmer on low, all night, and then let it cool back down in the morning. That way I can handle it, and we'll carry it back at lunchtime and fire the old cooker back up, roll it back up. So I'll probably let it slow cook about, 6 hours altogether. Yeah, 10-4. Well, I tell you what, there ain't nothing better than Crazy Man likes is fish heads and rice. Well, there's some good stuff, man. I got some of that old belly meat in there too, but I like to make mine out the heads. There ain't too much bones around there, a good bit of meat around them old jaws in there too. So I try to do it the old southern way, the way I was born and raised to do it.
There's old 23 channel stalker too. There's old
that's Star Patrol over there. He don't even know anybody's taping it. Nobody can hear him. I hear Star Patrol. Yeah, are you videotaping him? No. Okay, well, nobody can hear him but you. All right, well, let me stand by. Go ahead, Star Patrol.
Y'all want me to do
showing the video gate too. Go ahead.
Night Ranger, I put a little fire in the wire on that. A little Stalker 2 from T-Bear, Roger.
Did you say that was the 23 channel Stalker?
I-10 vote.
Yeah, I remember those. Those had all that gold trim on it. I have a T-Dispatch, which is a much lower model than the Stalker 2, but I've seen those.
I-10 vote, yeah. All the knobs are gold, everything gold on it.
The first time I saw that thing, I thought it looked like a pimp car.
You thought it was a what?
I thought it looked like a pimp car with all of that gold trim.
Yeah, I got this thing long time ago, man, and there's a little 23 channel, all the doggone knobs are gold, and I don't talk on it too much, so y'all went to old radio night, so I said I'll try it and put a little fire in the wire behind it.
That was a nice. Those were nice looking. They were, and I think there's a 40 channel version. I think it's called the 202 or Stalker 202. There may be more than one 40 channel version, but yeah, I didn't see those later. It seemed like I maybe heard somebody. Well, it seemed like I did remember one of my friends. It was a Village Queen had one for a little while. She had a Stalker. I don't remember which one it was, and then she got rid of it and she got a Cobra 139 XLR, I think it was. But yeah, I didn't really see those radios too much till many years later.
I-10, oh yeah. Well, I have the Cobra 139 XLR sitting right underneath this one. I got that too. It's sitting right underneath this one right here, Roger.
Well, that was a classic. That's what she talked about. She probably got that around the late 1970s, and she had a Turner +3B microphone with it. And I used to talk to Village Queen all the time on that radio.
I-10, oh yeah. Yeah, well, I got that Cobra 139 XLR, and I got a couple of Turner mics I can put on a 3, and I got a regular old turn on it. But right now I'm just on that old Cobra, not the Cobra, the Stalker 2 T-Berry with the stalk microphone, and I put a little fire in the wire behind it.
Well, it's doing a good job for you. I'd keep that. That's a classic.
Very good.
I-10, oh yeah, let's keep her right here. I got all these things stacked up. I gotta get somebody to take a look at this old Midland. I got an old Midland base over here, 23 channel, but she lights up, but I don't think she's doing too much of transmitting, and somebody can get in there and check it out, Roger.
I had a Stalker, T-Berry Stalker sideband 40 channel. It's the same as the Cobra 142, and give it to 44 over there.
Yeah, it's got the sideband on it. They got the AM FM sideband.
10-4. Yeah, those were I don't know, supposed to have been a lot of them sold over in England and all, but I don't know for sure.
Ain't no telling. Ain't no telling what these things, man, really win at.
I think that Eliminator's got a T-Dispatch, don't you there, Eliminator?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got it down there in the hole here.
Talk to Ed.
Yeah, they got all these things look like old wood grain and all that stuff on it.
Oh, yeah. The one I always thought looked like it was pimped out was that Courier, I forgot what the name, Courier, shoot, what was that one there, not Ranger, that purple one with gold, that had the purple looked like a big, a Crown Royal bag, what was the name of that one?
That was the Courier Royale or Royal or whatever it was.
Yeah, Royale, yeah, okay.
Yeah, gold and purple and all that. Yep. That was 23 channel double sideband, I think, radio.
Crown Royal.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
It does. It got that. Yeah, it's got that Crown Royal looking bag.
Yeah, 21 knows about it. He used to be dipping in that a whole lot.
Yeah, the see the way it is with them fellas there, they like to say what I did, but then half the time, they fall on the floor with a microphone, being over there drinking, but all I had to do is drink one beer. Oh, that's that 21 over there, he's drinking beer again.
Yep, he used to do it on the island. He used to be all tore up.
I can only remember, maybe I should say. I can only remember about one time I really got on the radio sloshed, and I wasn't even old enough to be drinking. I think I was 15 or 16 years old, and I got on there. I'd gotten into my dad's ancient age, bourbon, while they were asleep, and I was only 15 years old, and it was the first time I'd ever had liquor, and I wanted to try it. So they'd gone to bed, and I've been watching Johnny Carson, and they had those Coke glasses, the ones that are kind of, they're wide at the top and then skinny at the bottom. And so I went and got some, I didn't know what else to do with it. I got bourbon, tasted, I hated the way it tasted, so all we had was sweet tea, so I mixed it with some sweet tea. And I probably put about a third of that glass full of bourbon, not knowing how much I was supposed to drink, and drank it. And I thought it tasted awful, and sat down and I thought, well, that didn't do anything. So I put like another third of glass in there, mixed tea in, and then drank it, and then sat there waiting. No, that didn't do anything. So I went back and started watching TV and was going to forget about it. And then after a little bit, I noticed that Johnny Carson was like swaying back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I stood up and about fell down.
Yeah, Johnny Carson wasn't swaying back and forth. It was you.
Yeah, that's right. So I went back, got on the ZBs, blasted out of my mind, drunk at age 15. And then finally the next day I didn't feel too well. I was like hanging over the toilet.
On that, yeah. That sweet drink.
Yeah. Well, that was my first introduction. That was my first time getting drunk, and I don't remember any other times I got completely drunk on the ZB. If there are, I've forgotten about it, but I definitely remember that one.
How about, let's see, what happened to that other guy there? What about that, Wizard? You out there, Wizard? Maybe that 500 you out there? 8165. Making a good trip up here, about what, 30-something miles away? 10-4, you got a copy on him there, Night Ranger?
Not on this Robyn, I don't. Like I said, the receive's down on this thing.
Okay, how about you there, 755 and Star Patrol, Crazy Man?
Yeah, I got him.
I got him. Where's got you?
I barely hear that car taking much up.
Oh, no.
Sound like you're on another channel on me. I'm gonna go switch radio.
Well, get that, Delta tune on the front of that radio and kick it over to one side or the other there, Star Patrol.
You don't tell the tune, this is a classifier, but I can, but I can't pull him out what he's saying. I'm gonna go to the 139 and see if that'll hear.
Get on that $5 radio.
$2 radio.
Crazy Man, I'll be back. Hey, Porter.
You got neighbors shooting them off?
Yeah.
I heard a big shotgun blast earlier today, but that was about it around here.
Must be one of them deers out there shooting guns.
When does deer season end anyway?
I think it's at the end of the month here. I think January is when the ending day, or, 30th of December here, or 31st.
Okay. I know they wake me up in the morning, man, to crack a dog. Those as soon as the sun comes up, that light, little bit of daylight up there, they start firing those guns off and wake me up.
Oh, gee.
Hey, crazy.
Why?
Well, that 139, your $5 radio.
That sounds better. I like that one better.
Yeah, you want to buy this one? I got it for sale. You want it?
No, you told that damn radio close for a while. Check them out. That's all I know. That one fire department, they come down and check me out. Just over there, not up here. Just up there, not down, not over here. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't neither. Yeah, that's right. See us run over there by each other, they're crazy, man. Hey, self-control. Call crazy man. So you call crazy man. Crazy man, do you hear self-control? No, it sure can't, as long as you talking. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, see, they ride over there next to each other. They're over there holding hands over there, right? Yeah, 14, you said they had took the wheel there for a bit there. Uh-oh, let me get it out. Hell, I gotta be just right with this old radio here so it don't squeal. Hell, okay. You know what, that radio's squealing for 1021? Because you got the foot on our self-control's neck, you know, yeah, they ride over there by each other, so you know. Yeah, I know where they are. I know where Solar's at, I know where that 577 at. Oh, yeah. That time that radio yours had that self-control, he started squealing at it. Oh, no. They're getting keyed on each other now. Yeah, you got the keyed on self-control now. Now, you mean you can't hear that self-control? He's right over there by you? Oh, no. Let me get out of here. See, let me try it again. There's that. He done bumped it up now. He done bumped it up now. He done gone to the goodie store now. You see, I ain't got nothing over here to do that with. But anyway, I can hook something up. That old radio now. I didn't know he was going to get out there and try it out there. All right, let me get out of here. Alright, Star, quit doing that. Yeah, quit making that 21 squeal like that. That's trying to tell. Still having fun, man. Yeah, I gotta get that, I gotta stay real close to this radio. I think it's that, connector on the back. Let me tighten that thing up. Just have a look. I guess your ball bearings going out. Ball bearings. I'm trying to see it doing it on the meter there. Hell, I don't know. No, here now. Yeah, I gotta stay real close to the radio. I see it trying to fluctuate there, but it's that, every time I move that mic around, I think it's that connector. Let me get in there and tighten it up. Okay, you don't get that like I used to do it. 39, XLR. Oh, super sidekick microphone, back quiet. No, don't do it like that.
Now we've devolved into an overmodulated stomp war.
What's the big radio? We're talking about little radios tonight. I need me a big amplifier too. I'm looking for one. Needs a bigger radio. Yeah, bigger. What kind of big radio you got over there?
Robyn T-123 do the trick.
Oh, yeah. You've been calling every video game when I wasn't there. Oh, that's why it took some talking.
You can always tell when those tube radios key up, you know, if another carrier or another signal's in there, because you can hear that in tube oscillator, you know, it goes, boo!
Yeah, 10-4.
21, what'd you see about 1940s out there?
Yeah, he's been in the hospital. 1940, I meant to call him. I forgot about that. He's supposed to have been home on Monday, but if he was better. 1940, you out there? What do you have going on with him? He had a heart palpitation or whatever. His heart was skipping beats and stuff like that, and he went in there for some type of bronchial infection or something, and then he was doing a test on him, and all of a sudden his heart started jumping around a little bit, and he said he'd been doing that, and it wasn't no big deal, but the nurse called us, and then he sent a cardiologist in there, and then they were trying a couple of different medications on him, and then they got it supposedly all straightened out. Now, I talked to him, let's see, it was on a Saturday, and he was supposed to go home that Monday. That was this last Monday, and I should have called. I forgot all about it. Oh, okay, yeah, long here. We'll be getting a little better, so we can get back out here on the radio. All right, let me stand by out here with this little radio. Oh, small radio back quiet.
Yeah, I said if you talk to him, tell him we thinking about him.
Yeah, 10-4, yeah, he just got his beams put up, and got some other stuff fixed up over there, and matter of fact, now to the south is going to go over there that weekend and put some more guy wires on his ground plane that he got up there that the hurricane kind of bent. Well, it didn't really bend anything much, but he wanted to reinforce it some, and then he found out about that. So, yeah, I'll try to give him a text here tomorrow about probably 11 o'clock, something like that, and I'll let y'all know.
Yeah, 10-4.
See you walk and get in that caboose that was a meeting place of Mother Fella. Watch that boy. Yeah, I used to be one of them fellas out there, remember that? And you used to always say, don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm over that. Yeah, one lot of that was Marcy Turkey doing that. That's who that cockpit used to be? Yeah, come on. You know, the best one I used to like was Mobile. Mobile? Yeah, boy, you used to live right there on the Cosgrove Bridge, right there at the end of the Cosgrove Bridge, going out through the next bridge, going to Sproul, on the rivers. Man, there's so much of them old cotton pickers out there. Hey, y'all putting flashbacks. Y'all trying to make me remember things back in the day. Yeah, shit, he was right there by the viaduct. And they finally ended up going to cut his wire on his antenna, and he got tired of it. You know that drunk one that used to come out there and act up? Yeah, what is in the shed right there. Yeah, on the shed on the side of the highway. Yeah, that was the one. He used to get out, he be drunk and talking trash to people, Roger. I mean, all kind of bad smoke. He couldn't understand that the man said. They finally got tired of him. They finally ended up cutting his wires. I ain't paying for it. Yeah, somebody finally found out we were left. Yeah, he would get out there and I think he waited at nighttime. He done drink all that sauce and he can get out there and start acting up. So somebody finally found him, huh? I ain't paying for too many walkers on that here. That's like Flowertown Mechanic and Handy Andy. Oh, Handy Andy. Okay, and all that mess. Yeah, I'm supposed to go over there to Jack Daniel. After 2 weeks now, I'll be going to Jack Daniel. You get the same mess Jack Daniel too? I'm going on over there. Hey, Chris, I bet you a sample back. That's alright. Put them in your Mountain Dew. I told you, you know what? 10-7 on Mountain Dew went in Sprite to save away for all that sugar. Yeah, well, that's even better. You put them in the Sprite. Hey, you be even better. And Sprite sneaks around the corner from you. I'll let you put them in some 7-Up. Oh my God, no 7-Up. Alright,
get out my own piece of property, I got a little something that I can put up. They ain't big, but I'll be able to do a little something.
I know you're right. Hey, 21 better have his fun over there, and you might have some neighbors coming next door. No, that's why I don't rumble so much, so that's it. I had my son James Holland, man. I had him trying to lock me up, had the judge on me, and people running around the neighborhood taking out petitions against me and everything else. I don't need that up here. Yeah. Yeah, but if you keep on doing what you're doing, you're going to have them over there too. Nah, I've been doing it for a while. I'm way out here, so they don't, so far I hadn't bothered anybody. Maybe I am, they don't know it.
That's why I moved out here where I am with some woods around me, so I could, do what I want without the phone ringing.
If they take the wrong road, they'll be in trouble. Yeah, I might be his neighbor. I might be 21 neighbor. That'd be okay. I thought they'd keep the boogers to work on it. Yeah, you talk, I give you 10 minutes of talk time, and you give me 5 minutes of talk time. How about that? Well, we just split it up. We're just full shifts, so we're all, like papers out of the hat with the numbers and what time. No, I can't do that like that. Well, you talking, I'm talking, and it's not going to work for both of us, was it? What's in?
That's where the Roger beef comes in. That way you both know who ends up doing what.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what a lot of people do. We be on different channels. He let me beep on another channel, like he him beep on another channel. Okay, we both unkeyed.
You have to point your beams in the opposite direction from each other.
Yeah.
I can make you up a little circuit board with about 10 455 kilohertz ceramic filters for your second IF on your radio, and then put a preamp ahead of it, see if that'll knock him out if he's that close.
Yeah. I finally hooked up that little LED light thing that I was asking you about. It's got 4 wires coming out. Everything wasn't but like $1.50 shipped from China. And, it's got little diode lights to it and the LEDs. And this yellow all the way, in the line, and then the red one on the very end. And you got 2 wires that are 12 volts. And then you got 2 wires that you hook onto like a, speaker connection, but what I did, I put it in line with the speaker. I didn't just let it run right into it, and it works.
I saw one of those things, kind of like what you got on your video gates. I was in Kohl's, I think it was, the other day, and they had the LED fans, where I guess there was as the fan spins, you can have it print out, words and stuff, kind of like what you got sitting on top of your radio.
Yeah, 10-4. Yeah, you have to program it on the computer.
But they had those, I think it was Kohl's. It was just a fan though, but it was a little small fan you could sit on something. I said, I bet that'd be kind of like what 21 Dirty Diaper has.
Yeah, 10-4. Yeah, I ordered mine off to some guy had them. He was putting them on top of amplifiers, and he was putting his name, and I said, damn, that's cool, And, you have to put it on the computer, just kind of upload cable, and you got a disc you got to put in there, and all, I had to get my daughter to kind of help me with it, because I didn't really know what was going on with a couple of things there. She was able to help me get it going, and that's what it did. I think about getting another one, but I had to go to Kohl's and look, because no one had them back then. That guy had them on the top of his amplifier. I forgot who it was now.
Yeah, well, when I was out Christmas shopping the other night, they had a bunch of electronics grouped together, and I saw them back there.
Yeah, 10-4. Well, this thing I'm talking about is just like a little LED strip there with a circuit board. It's already pre-assembled and everything. I said, shoot, I'll try it out, and when the louder you talk, the more the green lights hook up, light up to the hole in the line, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to hook that to the speaker on the radio, so when you all would talk there, it would kind
That Panasonic, there's a Panasonic base that's got that VU meter built into it that just wiggles a bunch when you talk, and I think maybe when other people talk, it's a VU meter. But that's that Panasonic, was it RJ3600, whatever that Panasonic base is that shows up on eBay from time to time.
Yeah, with that VU meter, you have to have, you couldn't just hook the meter to the speaker, you'd have to have some type of a driver for it, wouldn't you?
Well, you probably could go off the speaker. You might have to, you'd probably have to pad it down with a resistor a good bit to keep maybe from burning the meter up. But you probably could, or you could just sample it further back in the chain if you wanted to.
It'd just be like a stereo receiver, you know, with a VU meter, but it'd be on CB there. Yeah, that Sony Super Scope had something like that too, I think. That's a weird looking radio they got. Every once in a while I'll see that one come up on sale on eBay. It's like $500, you know. I like the meter on it. It reminds me of that new Cobra 29 with that, you know, fancy digital looking meter thing. It looks something like that, but still analog, but it reminds me of that.
What is that, the LXC, Cobra 29, something like that, LXC?
Yeah, that Sony Super Scope base has something like that. As a guy was doing video games with one of them on there, and I thought, man, look at that, because it was nice and blue, and you know, you could see everything. That thing went like about 80 dB, and it was pretty neat. So I said, what the kind of radio is that? So then I saw one on eBay one time and said, oh, okay, that's what it is. But there's no way I paid $500 for one radio like that.
I've never heard of it, but now that you mention it, I'll have to look it up.
I never saw one or even heard one that I know of anybody had, you know, and so I don't know where they sold them at, but they made them.
Well, the other one I never even heard of or heard on the air, I don't think, until eBay came along, was the Motorola Mocats.
Yeah, Craig.
I did hear some Craigs, but I don't remember ever hearing a Motorola Mocat back in the 70s or 80s. I don't remember those. But and I don't know if I ever heard any sonars back then. I don't think I heard any sonars till I started watching eBay. I did. One of the guys locally about 10 years ago had one though, and it sounded pretty good.
What's that?
He had that 23 channel sonar base.
Oh yeah, that FS23 is supposed to be pretty good. It's got like 2 6BQ6s in there, push pull whatever, and you take and you bypass some kind of circuit in there. Well, I don't know exactly what it is, but and then you put a Dimco modulator on it. But I mean, you can only get so much modulation anyway.
Well, his sounded good. It was good tone. It was a good sounding radio.
They got them on eBay. There's one of them on there right now, like for $49, but it won't stay that long there.
Yep. Yeah, there a lot of people hunt down those radios. But like I said, I don't remember hearing one back then, but I did get to hear one about 10 years ago. I thought it was a nice sounding radio. Yeah, I couldn't make it out. I got a bad tube or something going out. This receiver on this thing's getting weaker and weaker. I'll have to, just instead of putting it back in the box, I'll have to put it on the bench and work on it when I get to it after Christmas. Pick him up, 21. This receiver's not getting him.
I hear you out there too, Red, on 21 wave it. Yeah, 13, I got you. Where you located? Come on. Northwest corner in Indiana. I hear you, man. Well, we got old radio night down here in South Carolina around Charleston area and Charleston, South Carolina. Good to hear you out there. Before I lose you, Merry Christmas to you. All right?